Nau mai, haere mai. Tech Week is a great opportunity for the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment to build strong partnerships with industry. Our work covers a wide range of sectors in New Zealand, including the digital technology sector. Part of our work is to ensure New Zealanders take full advantage of what digital has to offer. We do this through a number of programs and initiatives. We're partnering with industry on the ITP to help grow the digital technology sector and ensure issues like the current skills shortage in the tech sector is addressed. Our Digital Boost program ensures small to medium businesses have access to the tools and resources they need to help them digitally transform their business through free training, support, and digital offers. We're also helping people all across New Zealand to access a reliable internet connection through the government's connectivity programs, making sure all Kiwis can seize the opportunities on offer in an increasingly digital world. We hope you learned something new. Ka pai for taking the time to build your knowledge in the tech space.
Kia ora koutou. My name is Chrisana Archer. I'm the manager of MBIE's digital policy team. I lead a team at MBIE that is responsible alongside some other government partners for supporting the digital strategy for Aotearoa. That one was released last year, and as part of the strategy, my team is also responsible for the Digital Technologies Industry Transformation Plan. Or the ITP as we call it, which has been developed in collaboration over a couple of years now with industry. The ITP is an overarching framework, and it includes actions that will be implemented and led both by industry and government. A key focus area is growing our export success, where we're concentrating, at least initially, on two subsectors, so software as a service, the SaaS sector, and the game development sector. And today I'm exploring some of the work that we've been undertaking on the game development sector, and I'm joined today by V. Pendergrast, Operations Manager at the New Zealand Centre of Digital Excellence, to discuss further. So hello, V.
Kia ora.
It's good to be with you today. So for people who don't know about the New Zealand Code Centre of Digital Excellence, or CODE as we call it, can you please explain what CODE is and what it does?
So NZ Code started as a regional economic development program in the city of Dunedin, which was initially an intervention to help open up Dunedin as a third hub for game development in New Zealand. We've since expanded out nationally. We've got three core pillars: grant funding to help grow industry capability, and education. So we work with schools right up to university and tertiary sector. We do a lot of internal industry mentorship, workshops, capability programs, leading through to our grant funding sector, where we have production grants to help people start game development companies, and travel grants to help grow the ambition and to bring in international export opportunities.
I'm curious, V, how long have you been part of CODE, you personally?
I came to CODE in September 2020, and I came from Australia. I was living overseas at the time, and of course it was the dark days of the pandemic when we had border controls and all of that, and I was working remotely, and I relocated here last year. I haven't looked back. So I've been involved in CODE since 2020. Before that, I was working for other screen agencies over in Australia, perfecting my craft. CODE is really the distilled learnings of 5 different implementations beforehand, for my part at least.
Wow, fascinating. So a couple of years now. And what in that time you will have seen a few things, I imagine, and obviously working from Australia, then more recently in New Zealand. What's been the most exciting part of your time at NZ Code so far?
So for me, I mean, the most exciting time is always just before a launch. It's when you see the anticipation growing. It's when you see the community when we say that, I mean, I enjoy the expos, I enjoy the events, I enjoy all that as well. But it really comes to a crux when you've got a studio ready to pull the trigger on a new release. And then it's incredibly validating in that immediate post-launch period. If let's say they get a great launch and people are taking up the product, and you've got a bunch of happy developers because the communication with games is so immediate and instant between the audiences and the developers. And then those vibes start coming in, particularly when there's a really positive reaction from the industry, from the games media and beyond, and then from the public. You really see people rise up, and it is exciting to watch them and how they're empowered. And then you kind of watch them and they go through this period of the what's next. And that's the next exciting time, because there's always because the what's next is again full of new possibilities. And we've had experience and success over here, but we do this differently next time. And the cycle repeats itself. All right, so something that's really interesting about the way that Code does business is that we're actually in the trenches with our developers. We operate on an extreme hands-on environment where we almost have a constant flow of communication between our developers and ourselves. It's one of the reasons why we're hiring in the North Island, is we're putting people on the ground, and they will work on a daily basis with their developers to help out wherever they possibly can. Because we operate very lean. We operate on a small amount of money that goes out in a supremely targeted investment, and we will do everything in our power to help shore up that investment to net the best possible results. And we will look for where they need help, and we will pick up with them when it might be a mentor, it might be a specific piece of intervention, it might be some advice or a contact or a, hey, you should talk to this publisher because they would really vibe with the product. Because we're in the trenches with them, we feel it and we get that. And this is why I do this job, right? It's because it is so exciting to get that boost when someone gets that another positive step in their journey.
I'm curious, V, you've come to New Zealand from Australia recently in the last couple of years, and at the moment there's a lot of talk about traffic going the other way from New Zealand to Australia. Can you give us some reflections on why did you come to New Zealand, and what are your observations?
So for me, I'm about helping people from perhaps backgrounds where they hadn't got that opportunity to get those opportunities. My background is I came from Perth, the most isolated city on the planet. It's a bragging thing. And you know what, when we started, how difficult it was, and the fact I'm no longer doing it speaks to how difficult that it was. And this is why I got into the activism space to begin with, to help working on these programs and working with our governments to help get there. And I never found a perfect program. And I came in and I would go in and work with an agency, and I work with several agencies across the various states. And I would come in and I would fix it up and get it as good as I possibly could within the limitations, because there are always limitations. And then I'd say, it still works now, I'll catch you later. Code is something that I have been able to sit with for a few years and watch the growth and maturity that comes with that. And then again, that's something that really excites me, and it's incredibly validating. So why am I here in New Zealand? I'm here because there are people, I came to Dunedin in the South Island, which is not LA or Tokyo or Berlin or London or Montreal, of course. We're traditionally one of those places where video games got made. So seeing that growth, and when you give a small amount of money by business standards, to a developer who's got that secret sauce, the whatever it is that will make a truly excellent game, that will, with the right guidance, direction, help, mentorship and opportunities, help find that audience, that's when the magic happens. And that's how we can make a difference. And the thing being is that take away the window dressing from what I do. I love games. I mean, you couldn't work in this industry without loving games. But I love helping people who deserve an opportunity, who might have some impediments in front of them because of location, because of ethnicity, because of background, a little bit more. We can break down those barriers, and that is something that we can build a targeted, strategic program year on year. And we can actually fix that. That's a fixable problem. And the other thing I really wanted to work in was I really wanted to work with Indigenous people. And in Australia, unfortunately, it's still not quite there yet when it comes to Indigenous people in this particular space. So we're building this with code. And if anything, you want to see me excited and screaming out our successes is watching what's coming in that space. It will take time and there will be a huge strength, but we're looking at generational change and helping opening up those avenues for new ways to tell stories and new audiences to receive those stories. I mean, what other job would I want to be doing?
We know that Code has supported some great game development studios, and I wonder if you could perhaps give us some more detail of some of the alumni that you've worked with.
So 2023 is a huge year for us at Code because, of course, our program got really started in 2020. So, of course, there's a lag time in games that need to be developed and then actually making them and shipping them out to market. So this year, we've got somewhere between 5 and 12 games launching, which is hugely exciting for us. I say there's somewhere between because it's all at this stage of it, it's all about the left of it, right of it, as they all go out the door and go and take on the world. Game development and working with small companies is exciting with game development because a small team of 4 people, well, we've seen a couple of weeks ago what can happen there with Dredge from Christchurch. Not a code supported studio, but a great case study in what can be done with clever direction, great business strategy, export opportunities, and community backing. Code seeks to grow more of that. It's exciting. It's a really good industry from an export perspective because a game can launch and go nuclear almost overnight, where you've got hundreds of millions of sales coming out across the world, and we're really making a difference to what the game development sector looks like here in New Zealand.
Nice. So late last year, I think the government announced some additional support for Code. I think it was a total of $10 million additional new funding over the next 4 years to expand the work, expand Code's work. Can you talk us through your future plans on expanding Code and what the investment will help to deliver?
So we're in the process of rolling out nationally right now. We've hit just straight away, we've got national workshops rolling out, we're delivering them online, and we're helping connect industry professionals to experts of the highest degree in their individual disciplines. That's the first step. Second step up, we just rolled out a national travel grant system. There are huge game development expos, industry events, export opportunities that are now resurging after the pandemic break, and we want to make sure that our independent developers are at the very forefront and getting to those events to where they need to be to secure the commercial opportunities. The third phase will be employing some new staff in the North Island to help facilitate the growth and the individual. A lot of the work that we do is in coaching, and it's around capability, and it's around finding where developers might need that uplift. And we are certainly going to be working very closely with studios in the North Island to help grow their individual studio capacity and their own professional development as well. And then we're moving on to the big ticket item, which is, of course, our funding programs for production and new product development, moving into a showcase at PAX Australia in 2023, and then move and a growth beyond that into a true international engagement with New Zealand-made product, New Zealand IP at the forefront.
Nice. What's PAX Australia?
So PAX Australia is a small family-run event of some, I think it was 110,000 people last time. That was the word on the street. It's the biggest gaming expo in the Southern Hemisphere. It's a huge festival, expo, part of a Melbourne International Games Week when industry and consumers come together and celebrate everything to do with games. It's also a huge opportunity for us in New Zealand to get our first we got the first Māori language game to PAX Australia last year, and we want to see more of that opportunity for Māori developers and selling that cultural product that wins it in the market because it's authentic. But we also have a huge host of games that we're bringing out for a variety of different developers, genres, platforms, and the whole thing is just hugely exciting and has netted real commercial opportunity from last year. So let's grow and expand that.
It's really fascinating series of work streams there, V. Thank you. Impressive. And if people are wanting more information about Code, and I'm sort of thinking here about maybe I've got a couple of different people in mind, like maybe somebody who's just starting out and a little bit curious, but not part of a studio yet. How can they find out about a bit more? And then conversely, somebody who is actually part of a very small studio and thinking what support is there, how would they go about getting in touch with you?
Well, you can see we still got our old name on our website, which is www.codedunedin.nz. We will update that. But you can find us on Twitter at code_NZ, find us on Facebook, LinkedIn. We are on, if you are already in the industry, we are very vocal. You can find us on Discord. We're on the NZ Game Dev Slack. And the other thing too is we're actually just turning up to events and game dev meetups and industry. Whenever industry is coming together, we'll be there. We'll be supporting the Independent Games Showcase at the New Zealand Game Developer Conference, and you can find us across a variety of social media platforms.
Cool. So game dev meetups. How would I find out about them? Just Google it.
Literally, just Google it.
Yeah.
Type in your home city and then Game Dev Meetup or the closest major centre to you, and it won't be far away.
Thank you very much, V, for your time today and talking us through the work that NZ Code is undertaking to support Aotearoa New Zealand's game development ecosystem.
Thank you.